Man, I miss you guys. I know everyone's been wondering, Grady, where are you at? If you guys remember before, I ended up at the Playboy Mansion house a while back. You guys remember that? Okay, a little bit ago, and I had to tell them, look, I just ain't nobody got time for that. Got heroes to quest, got heroes to level up. Come on, showed them how to get in that tavern, buy up all the heroes, baby. But they've been blowing me up for months. Every day they're hitting me up, and I keep blowing them off. Well, they've just been so persistent, and they seem so dedicated, right, to DeFi Kingdoms. I was like, oh, they needed some help. All these changes, all these updates, all these things going on. They're so busy. I was like, once again, I was like, could use a little R&R, I guess. So we went, checked it out again, see how things were going. Wanted to get them coached up in the game, in DeFi Kingdoms, baby. Just kidding. Of course, just kidding. There's more. We could talk about that one. Okay, total joke. Also, more news. The kid's school, if you guys remember, my kid's school, the principal hit me back. If you guys remember, I went to my kid's school and said, hey, look, we need to get all your curriculum. We need to get it out of there. We got to be teaching them DeFi Kingdoms, baby. We got to be teaching them real world use case economics, baby. DeFi Kingdoms right here. If you guys remember, I tried to tell her about ragweed, getting that ragweed, getting that bloater fish. Man. So she actually hit me back. She hit me up and said, hey, we're interested. Maybe this is a good idea. Get the game in there. Kids might pay more attention at school, she said. I was like, heck yeah. What we got to do. Here's what we got to do. We got to get that curriculum. We got to get it out of there. We got to throw it out. We got to teach them about DeFi Kingdoms. Well, man, she just didn't like hearing it. She didn't want to hear that because my kids were hitting her up all the time too. Telling them about DeFi Kingdoms, how they wanted Gen Zero, baby, wanted Gen Zeros, all kinds of stuff going on. The devs on point in the clutch, per usual, always nailing these updates, big brains, big monster brain, genius, brilliant updates, absolute big brained updates. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'll stop being crazy. All right. So here's the thing. This update that came, I'm going to talk in a minute here why I took a break. All right. So it was like I got the wind knocked out of me. I'm going to explain why. Okay. This update with, the lock jewel. First of all, I don't think it's a great idea. Like last night, shout out. I'm loving all the content creators out there. They're doing all the content. I'm loving it. Last night was Adventures in DFK, baby. And we got About Life podcast pumping them out. We got Wowee in the house in here popping them out. I love this. Man, so much going on. All my people, I've missed you. Okay. I can't wait to get Wowee back on the channel. Got to get everybody on the channel. Raph and Neindorf, Ventures in DeFi Kingdoms, Fight Club, all Bogside chats. Everyone's in the clutch, baby, except Rock. Where's Rock been? I miss Rock. It's breaking my heart. Rock, are you still alive? Earth to Rock. Rock, are you there? We miss you, my man. We need you. You are a foundational piece, baby, in this community. We got Sergeant Filthy McNasty in the zone. We got Brown Gent putting out some of the most quality content out there, baby. Just the man. Can't wait to get all these guys back. And I'll tell you what happened. And it's good stuff going on. I'm telling you guys, I'm so bullish. Okay, so this update is so big brains. Now, when you go level up a hero, summon, things like that, we can now use Locked Crystal, not yet Locked Jade. I'm assuming that's coming soon. I was hoping they would mention that today in the AMA. They didn't, but we'll just assume, obviously, right? That's coming. Anyone I meant to actually ask? Okay. Oh, man. I love you guys. Yes. Okay. So first of all, with the crystal, okay. As far as in the meditation circle in Crystalvale, not here, I'm in Serendale right here. In Crystalvale, you can go and it's like raffles all over again, except with locked jewel, locked crystal. I mean, not locked jewel, locked crystal. So we can use our locked crystal to win a Gen 0 even. But then I quickly realized, you know what? There's no way I'm going to win this. I did kind of ape into that a little bit. I don't have a ton of locked crystal. I don't know why. It's so weird. So I was in the pools right away for a long time. I guess it unlocks faster than you realize. Getting that from the miners. But here's what this does. Okay, this is so big brain. When I heard this, I was like, wowzers. Okay, so first of all, we will be able to use it for leveling up, summoning, some of those things. Egg hatching. Okay, you can use it. But it's not 3 to 1. Okay, it's actually 4 to 1. So one, because here's what they said. If you read the announcement, you have to, it's like the original crystal price and then plus a 3x on top of that. It was a plus. And then, you know, when you look at it, I could even show you guys. It's actually, to use it is times 4, not times 3. Like it would make more sense if they did it times 3. Okay, and so here's why I don't think it's a good idea to be doing that. Now, sometimes it's convenient. It's not a whole lot. If you're not doing it a ton, it can be convenient. You got to summon your Gen 0 or whatever. Got to get her done. Okay, and then also those raffles might make sense, but probably not this time around, right? Because people are going to run out of their locked crystal fast. There's not a whole lot of new locked crystal being minted because it's pretty much all getting released, like 90 something percent, 90 whatever percent. Okay. And so it's going to go fast. Okay. So people are going to run out fast. But what that means, so like in a few weeks, I don't know, a month, people are going to start running out of their locked crystal. That might be a better time to get in on those. Okay. And what happens when you get in on that, when you do your offerings, is what it's called, your blessings of offerings, baby, 75% of that crystal gets burned. 75%. Okay. And he said this morning in the AMA, already it was over 100,000 crystal burned. Okay, then the other 25% will be added additionally. You know, it'll be just additional rewards in the gardening fund, which is awesome for the quest fund for gardeners. All right, but that won't come until it's actually unlocked in real life. So that's a big, that's down the road before that comes. But it'll start coming because crystal, the 1 year mark is coming up. When's 1 year? It's in March, right? Dang, that's next month. We're already going to start. It'll just automatically unlock. But for everyone that's been mining it away, you've just mined most of it probably already anyways. Okay, but it's still very bullish. Now, on the flip side, when you're using the crystal, okay, the locked crystal, when you're using that to level up, to summon, to hatch eggs, whatever else, okay, that is also bullish. Okay, even though I don't recommend it, it might be convenient at times. Okay, when we just, scrounge around to look for crystal, sometimes that happens. Okay, use a little bit of it. Okay, but even though I don't recommend it, I think it's awesome because what it's going to do is eat up more of the locked crystal, which is continuously being unlocked every day by miners. So it's now, as far as the token distribution, it will, once it's unlocked, once you use it and it's unlocked, it will follow the same token distribution where it goes to the team, it goes to the quest fund, 5% of it's burned. Okay, but all of that is times 4. Okay, and I think because of all this burning now that's going to happen with these tokens, long term, it's very bullish on Crystal and Jade, especially right now. Jade, where is it at? All right, Jade's back up to 7 cents. It went down below, like to 6.8 cents for a hot minute there. Crazy. it's gotten so low that has been a little disturbing that it actually has gone this low. I mean, goodness, and crystal below 10 cents even. It's like, dang, man, doesn't make sense to me. So what we've got going on here, now let's get you really updated here. What we've had going on in this ecosystem essentially is it's a tiny, dinky, tiny little ecosystem of DeFi Kingdoms. I'm pretty sure the number of actual daily active users is less than 1,000. Okay. Now I know the daily active wallets is more, but that's because we all have tons of wallets. Like the big time people in the game have tons of wallets, especially like Vilvi. I remember she told me she had like 70 wallets, and I was like, are you kidding me? Dang. Okay. So as far as like when you look at the contest, a lot of times, sometimes, one of the contests, like the Tilt Tuesday or whatever that DeFi Kingdoms does, usually that's around 500, 600, 700 people. I think one of them did recently go above 1,000, if I remember right. So that's a good sign. We have had new people coming in, but this thought has been with me for months. I don't know how much I've communicated it, but essentially what I noticed, let's rewind a little bit and go over my history with the channel and why I even started this channel in the first place. Here's my why. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? I noticed, that DeFi Kingdoms and their team is very exceptional. I've been in crypto for a long time, and I've been in a zillion different projects, straight degen mode, trying to find that awesome gem out there that nobody knows about yet, but has a great team and will someday succeed. Okay, that's been like my crypto journey, is to find that amazing 10,000x project, that gem out there that nobody knows about, but has an amazing team. That's always kind of been for years. That's been my mindset. And to find those teams, those projects where the teams grind, where they have the right core values. Okay, I come across DeFi Kingdoms. DeFi Kingdoms was unlike anything I've ever seen personally. Now I know Sandbox may be similar, right? According to Rock, where they do weekly AMAs. They actually communicate. They seem to have the core values where they look out for the best interests of the community, even over their own best interests. Okay, I notice all these things. Crypto Kong, baby. Even Crypto Kong is putting out content. I love this guy. I want to get you on the channel, my man. He's doing some videos here lately. I'm loving all the content creators popping up. I'm loving it. Skiller and About Life Podcast, they're always connected. I mean, they're like two peas in a pod. I'm loving this, man. Okay, so I noticed DeFi Kingdoms. Okay, this is back in May, like March, April, May of last year. Okay, and I had been, I got in early February, but just in the liquidity pools, maybe even January, not sure. About a year ago, I was starting to dabble in some of the pools and starting to follow the project a little bit, but I was like spread out into 50 million DeFi projects, like all over the place. All I do all day is listen to YouTubers, crypto YouTubers, pretty much. Okay, and so depending on the season, ins and outs. So I'm just like, wow, one of a kind project. I just more and more get sold on it. I'm like, hey, this actually has potential to flip Axie Infinity, which I had crushed it with Axie Infinity. First got in on that, about $1, started selling it, $79, sold all the way out of it at $167 when I got back from Africa. I was running an orphanage, helping run an orphanage out in Africa. Okay, last year. And I was really big on this team. And then all of a sudden May hits and all the nonsense happened. Okay, all the accusations went flying at Frisky Fox. And right away I'm just like, I don't believe this. It's false. It's wrong. And I get it. I get in crypto, okay, all these crypto projects, you have two extremes. You either have pure hype, pure just hype coins that have very little development, scammy coins, very little use case, and it's just all hype. Or you have projects that have awesome development, amazing development, awesome devs, and they're not good at messaging, marketing, communicating. Okay, it's like one or the other most of the time. Okay, and so you've got all kinds of ranges of things out there. The ones that, you know, they just grind away, but they're a bunch of nerdy engineers. They, you know, talking. They're not good at hyping the project at all. And so I'm used to it. It's normal. And I've more and more over the years. I love those guys. I love them. I get it. I get them. Okay. And they're big brains. But when it comes to, you know, they're so logical in their head, right? So they're not good at the messaging part, right? So I'm used to it. It's so normal. Okay. Like the back of my hand, right? So then May hits, all this FUD, Frisky is a rug and da-da-da-da-da, all this stuff. And I'm just like, The more I look into it, the more it's just like, nope, nope, and nope. False accusation after false accusation. And so I just couldn't help it. I noticed right away the team could have handled it better. It's not like they handled it terribly. It's not like they didn't respond, but it wasn't handled right. And it drove me crazy. And so I'm sitting through this. I'm just like, and then, so I just couldn't help myself. I'm reaching out to Frisky Fox. I'm like, look, this could have like actually taken a negative, turned it into a positive, and actually grown your ecosystem instead of literally, okay, at one point, this project got up to over, if you saw Crypto Tro, baby, putting out some videos too, 55,000 daily active wallets about a year ago. Okay, 55,000 daily active wallets, over 100,000 Discord people active in there. Okay, and that was back when we didn't necessarily have 50 million wallets. Like, it was different. Not, you know, people didn't have a zillion heroes back then. So most of those active wallets were actually different people as opposed to now. Okay. You had all the YouTubers out there talking the project up. You had even I Am George. We're all George. He's part of the reason why I got into it. And I mean, that was kind of, I first heard it through like Drake on Digital. And then I got into when I started diving in the ecosystem, that's when I came across the Christian Peters, the Brown Gents, those guys, the Tosh, Baby, the Inner Grove. Okay, that's when I started diving in more. But all the big dogs, not all, but just about all. You had Banter, Crypto Banter, Manran. You had Hustle talking about it. You had all kinds of YouTubers all over the place talking it up, and the project just blew up. So it was like their marketing. Okay, they had all this influence, and it just took hold. It took hold and was awesome. Well, then when the FUD hit, it was unjustified, unfair. Can I just ask people this? It's so crazy that people will talk about something when they haven't properly done the research. They flippantly assume the worst. Without actually knowing what actually happened. And that's what happened. People just nonchalantly, without doing the research, assumed the worst about the team, about Frisky Fox. And that kind of stuff drives me nuts when people do that. It's like a character issue that's largely lacking. Okay, I would never go on Twitter and talk about something unless I've properly done my research and I actually know what I'm actually talking about, unless I'm asking questions. It's fine to go on Twitter and be like, hey, are you sure about this? You know, does it do this? And you're doing your due diligence, you're asking questions. That's fine. You always assuming the best of people, not the worst, but you trust but verify. Always. Okay, it's like that should be 101 common sense to all of us. But no, that's not what happened in this project. You had this narrative that went crazy with Frisky Fox, you know, all this crazy stuff. And so I couldn't help myself but come to his defense, because my background is this is like the best thing I've ever seen. And the more I look into it, the more it's like, couldn't be further from the truth. The team is the opposite of a rug pull. They're actually looking out for the best interests of the community, even over their own backs, over their own best interest. That's essentially their foundational core value, you know, from what I've seen. Not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You're never going to get a perfect project out there, but it's like leap years ahead of anything I had ever seen. And as time went on, and then the bridge hack happened, and I lost all my money right after that. Okay, it was the Luna stuff, and I got so wrecked on that because I was in early on Luna, made a ton of money, and was just so bullish and was pumped for true decentralized banking to come to planet Earth. You know, basically, number one use case in crypto, decentralized banking. And they were doing it. They had debit cards issued. You could completely, you know, ignore the banks with them. And anyways, so much misinformation about even that, even though Do Kwon is weird. Okay. So still not sure what's going on with him. Okay. So I get wrecked from that. I get wrecked, then badly wrecked again. You know, I gotten wrecked from Phantom, got wrecked from the bridge hack, got wrecked me. Okay. But the team did their best. They still did a good job. Like even when all the accusations went flying out back in May, okay, and there's a mass exodus out of the project, okay, they still did their best and communicated better than what most anything else does out there in crypto. But it could have just been, in my mind, if I would have been a hold of that, I would have grabbed that bull by the horns, turned it all into a positive, and regained everyone back, right on back into the project, because it was essentially not a big deal. It was so overblown on top of that. Now, the bridge hack was a big deal, very big deal. And I right away noticed then too, it was just driving me crazy, the communication through that whole process. Could have been better. Still was good though. They still did their best. Still, at least they were with us, like communicating, doing their best. But I noticed this ecosystem's dying. Everyone's dying. And here's what's happening. It's such a tiny, dinky little ecosystem now. We're just essentially less than 1,000 people cannibalizing the crap out of each other. This tiny little remnant of people that are left in this ecosystem is cannibalizing one another in this game. And it's going to fail if something doesn't happen. I noticed all the YouTubers, they weren't YouTubing anymore. They were all, you know, they had all got wrecked like me. And I just couldn't help it. I could not. It was just like, I had to come to DeFi Kingdoms team's defense. Couldn't help myself. So I started the channel with this why. This was my why. I had the vision and the purpose to help bring excitement back into the project. To help reignite, a big one was to help reignite a lot of the YouTubers. So I was every day, I was reaching out to guys like Christian Peter. I was reaching out to guys like Tosh, and they were responding to Klein Crypto, the Brown Gent. These guys were helping me. And I wanted to do anything I could to both help communicate what's actually going on in the project to the guys like Brown Gent, okay, who had a lot of questions. Okay, he had a lot of questions back in May when all that went down. And I remember thinking he did a video where he said he was getting out of the project too. There's a bunch of videos where all the YouTubers were getting out of the project. And I remember he actually came back and clarified. He said, no, I actually didn't. I'm still in. And then we started connecting. Okay. And I wanted to get Brown Gent in a headlock, baby, pin him down and talk up the project and get fire for the project. And I don't know how much I helped with that, but I know I at least helped a little bit with helping get Brown Gent excited about DeFi Kingdoms again. I remember I was reaching out to everybody Everybody. I was on George. I am George every day. Every day I watch him twice a day. Every single day. Every single day I watch Hustle. Every single day. I mean, like on 1.5x speed while I'm doing other things. Always. Okay. And I'm super chat. I'm doing super chats. Hey, you guys are sleeping on DeFi Kingdoms. Best team in crypto that I've ever seen. They communicate. All these things going on. It's not a dead project. Trying to spread the word about DeFi Kingdoms. Looking for YouTubers out there trying to reignite passion. I came across About Life podcast, baby. Got him on the channel. That was a wild card. Didn't know the guy at all. Turned out being an absolute freaking gem. Guys like Rock 808. Guys like Zabu, guys like whoever, Mosh, baby, in the house, in the Beeve, got them on the channel. Okay, just trying to encourage a community, okay, that isn't, okay, a community that, for one, isn't exploiting new users coming in the game. Where, I had to learn everything the hard way in the game. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Things like, don't sell the ragweed with the vendor. The milkweed with the vendor. Sell that in the trader. Didn't know that. Took me about a month to figure that one out. And I was like, oh, dang. I lost a lot of money doing that for that first month. Probably not really a lot of money, but okay. Things like that, big deal. Okay. So giving all the alpha, helping people get the alpha, sharing the secrets, giving new users everything they need to help them get going. This was my vision. This was my why. All for the purpose of not keeping this crypto's best kept secret. It's nice getting in early on a best kept secret. And I feel like we are. Okay. It's really nice being in, but I don't want to stay here. This isn't my goal. It's to just have this tiny dinky little ecosystem where we're essentially cannibalizing one another like savage. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But all these plays, whereas my perspective is a long-term perspective in the game. That's when the real money is made. Not making that 50 cents, here and there by buying a hero and selling a hero and, all these awesome, which is fun though. All these awesome things that people are doing. Man, I want to have a long-term outlook, start dollar cost averaging out way down the road. Has always been, that's how I haven't ever succeeded very well as a trader. Long-term outlook, long-term perspective, slow dollar cost average in, slow dollar cost average out once the thing pumps to the moon. Okay. And it's not about just making money, pumping to the moon. It's about finding projects you believe in, okay, that you want to be a part of with the most phenomenal community out there in the world, the most phenomenal third-party developers like Born to Die 007, baby. Yeah, pure transparency. That's right. Mosh and the Beeve and Starbuck, baby. Christian Peter in the house. Yes. Who's, you know what? Didn't Christian Peter do a video? His DFK today. I meant to, these YouTube algorithms, sometimes I got to go hunting for these videos. There's others, I guess it's part of its consistency. Maybe when you're not as consistent, maybe you don't get hit, it just won't pop up. I don't know what that's about, but I need to go look at what's going on with Christian Peters and his DFK today. Okay. So this was my why of coming in. But with to me, in my mind, I wasn't necessarily trying to explode the ecosystem yet. So there has been a bit of a pause, giving the team time to work through all these issues that have come up and develop and actually create the game. Okay, but until then, so my number one goal hasn't necessarily been to, go evangelize brand new people into the game necessarily. Although, heck yeah, bring them in. Even more so was to get a lot of the past users back in, show them everything that's gone on, show them how resilient this team's been through all the trials and tribulations, fire on their head, and how they've somehow gotten through that without losing their minds. Okay. And so a lot of failures on that. I thought maybe I had George. I am George. Thought I had him back on the hook, baby. We communicated a lot of back and forth communication between me and George on this, but hey, the seeds are planted. Okay. Guys like Hustle, he still won't ever respond to me. It's killing me. All right. It's absolutely killing me. Hustle, man. But I'm gonna, it's one of these days, gonna pin down Hustle like a butterfly in a killing board. And whoever else out there is so awesome to see Bartertown getting back in the game. He bought a Gen Zero. Now, a lot of times Bartertown, watch him pretty much every time. He's pumping out some videos. Okay. He's in a totally different ecosystem, real tight with Forex Shark, doing his thing. But on the side, a little bit, 1% of his brain power in crypto is totally dedicated to DeFi Kingdoms. Even on some of his videos on the AMAs, when Forex Shark is talking, he's sitting there questing his heroes. He bought a Gen Zero, maybe bought 2. So awesome seeing that. And then he did a whole video on it. Guys like Lifer, Crypto Lifer, baby. Those guys, man, who still almost every day I'm on there, super chatting with him. And he just gives me these massive shout outs every time he sees my name. We just hit it off in Miami. Okay. And he did a video just for DeFi Kingdoms that like 4,000 people saw, at least, or something like that, so things like that, getting people back in. So that's been my mindset. And so one of the things, okay, just natural progression of things that hit, that was a total hit when I was talking to BitBoy in Miami, trying to get DeFi Kingdoms back on his radar, okay, was right here, Next Crypto Gym TV show. Okay. So I put out this tweet. This is when I got the wind knocked out of me here a little bit. And I had talked to Dreamer and Frisky about this, but they're so busy. It's so hard. I don't even know, how much they really even had the brain capacity to look into it at all or even think about it. Okay. But it was mentioned to him more than once. Bolin, those guys. Okay. And I was fostering this relationship, just like I was fostering George. I am George. Like he's been my number one, pin him down like a butterfly on a killing board. And that's been like such a goal of mine to get him to cry uncle when I have him pinned down and say, you're right, I was wrong. DeFi Kingdoms is an amazing project. The day's going to come. It's coming. I believe it. Okay. But I put out this tweet. Okay. And when was this? This was, where's the date at? Okay. January 18th. This was the last day that I haven't been on YouTube since January 18th. Wow. Okay. Time flies. And so I'm pumped. I've been fostering this relationship with this guy named Jet. Okay. And so I know kind of the ins and outs of what's going on with this project. All kinds of, like at first I didn't even believe it. It sounded too good to be true. It was like he was talking this thing up and it was like I was skeptical. But as I got to know him, the more I got to talk to him, I'm like, wow. And and then when he got George, I was like, dang, he pulled that off. And then today he announced BitBoy's coming on, as like a 1 day, 1 episode thing or something, I think. Not a judge. These are the 3 judges. The layout is kind of like a voice, The Voice. You go trap random people, gyms. They're looking for a gym out, some farmer girl, sitting out there who can sing good, like Carrie Underwood, turned in, or Kelly Clarkson, okay, that no one knew about. Then they come on this show and they find this amazing talent. Okay, that's really the vision of this show, similar to that. And they have judges, right, that looks at the fundamentals of a crypto project, okay, and they only So first they have a vetting process where they only let good projects in. Okay. They only let good projects in, and it's meant to be super pro crypto. It's meant to also reach people who don't know anything about crypto, or, is neutral on crypto, or maybe even against crypto, and essentially present crypto as the amazing thing that it is, the game changer that it is, like the internet in 2000, in 1999, when the internet hit, okay, it changed the world. Now it's like we don't even realize how much that's changed the course of history, the internet. Well, crypto's the same way. They're trying to spread awareness, and they only bring on the best, that they find projects in. And the whole vision is to really promote the projects that they bring in and give them a platform that no one knows about, tiny little market cap projects that aren't in the top 100 on the market cap projects. That's what they're looking for. And then have these crypto-minded people evaluate all kinds of things about the project. Evaluate the team. Are they building? The tokenomics, the team's core values. Same thing, same deal. Essentially, the winner from my book, from everything I've ever seen out there, is DeFi Kingdoms. Absolutely, without question. So it's just like, the more I get to talk to them, the more I get to know them, it's like DeFi Kingdoms will win this thing, knock this out of the park. We will crush this. Okay. And so fostering a relationship with him for weeks and weeks and weeks. Okay. A lot of time, not tons of time, but chat with him. But I even said, hey, look, if this doesn't work out for DeFi Kingdoms, we talked about me going and me just helping him out with this show. So, that I think is still on the table as far as I know. Like, regardless of DeFi Kingdoms going, I was just going to go and try and connect and evangelize DeFi Kingdoms. And also just make connections with pin down George, baby, and just make the most of potential opportunities that come my way. And so we connected so much so, okay, that Jet was like really sold on DeFi Kingdoms, like big time. And really excited to get to know Dreamer and Frisky and everything. And even said, man, it's so impressive. The more I look into this, he's okay. So then the time comes and I tweet this out, and I'm thinking like, duh, no brainer, absolute no brainer. All right. Yes. Crypto baby H. Right. So then what happened was a lot of these a series of things happened that same day and the day after. Okay, maybe the day after actually is when it really started hitting. And so we had some people that were cool, like this may get some pushback, but I don't think we should be trying to get in shows like this. This is vibes. Oh, it's vibes. Okay. Think how cringe this show is going to be. Like, okay, but vibes. What, have you done your research? Do you know all about this show? Like, what do you know about this show? So don't get on here. Okay. So, but this was it's not like this was bad. Just think about it. Just my thoughts were better than this. We need to align DFK with names and projects that embody our values. Okay. So I remember people hitting me up after I got back from Miami saying, are you sure we want to associate ourselves with BitBoy? They said. And it's like, what do you mean associate ourselves with BitBoy? It's not like we're partnering with BitBoy. He's one of the biggest, he's literally the second largest crypto channel out there. And he was nothing on the last run. He was a nobody. Okay. And yes, he did some questionable things. I watch him every day. I've followed. I actually know what's going on with him. Is he a narcissistic sociopath? Maybe. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Does that mean we can't now? Okay. Where's your line of who we don't associate ourselves with, who we're holier than thou of? Or is our approach to just let BitBoy be BitBoy and it's whatever, but to at least tell him about what's going on in DeFi Kingdoms? How can that hurt? How does that hurt if BitBoy gets excited about DeFi Kingdoms? Does that hurt us? Okay, we're going to talk about this more. And then, yeah, Vibes came back. He said, hey, I think you're onto something. I refer to cringe as in, perspective when normies see something VS, how we see it in it. And I could be rushing judgment. Yeah, so that's, I guess I would say, that's what we not need. It's okay to ask questions. Okay, because here's the problem with this. Jet, like basically the founder or the co-founder, was tagged on this tweet. Okay, so all the other crypto projects out there that I saw, period, that was connecting with this, were all super appreciative and thankful for even the opportunity to be considered to be on the show. So Jet is, I didn't see a single amount of pushback on Jet from any other project other than DeFi Kingdoms. And to be honest, I have to say it's like the first time I felt embarrassed when I was chatting with Jet about the community of DeFi Kingdoms. So with some more of these comments, like Vibes was cool, Vibes was all right. Except calling it cringe. It's going to be cringe. Think of how cringe this will be. Like these statements, how do we know that? So one of my biggest pet peeves is just when people say things, they haven't. It's one thing if Vibes has done his research and looked into that and then has a good sound response back. But a lot of these I could just tell, no. I mean, they hadn't looked into it at all. They were just hip shot opinions. Okay, on Twitter with the dude tagged, the director of the show, like the co-founder of the show. Okay, that I have like delicately spent a lot of time communicating with him about this project. Okay, because it's not my goal to be this tiny, dinky little ecosystem and just be happy with that. But I start realizing that a lot of people are perfectly content with that. It's almost like they want to stay a tiny, dinky little ecosystem. And I know part of this is my own mental health issues. Okay. But, okay, we had... Okay, Wigas. Shout out to Crypto Kong. Straight came out and set the record straight. Okay, and I think this is the Perilous Pirate guy, right? Sad concept for a show, honestly. The next crypto gym is a concept that makes me puke. When I started crypto, I heard it all the time. It's just a way for people to sell you their bags. Really? Really? Honestly, I hope we stay far away from this. We need less of people telling others what to buy. Somebody in here said it's a shill. Okay, and I'm like, what even is a shill? So are you saying that if I'm hyping DeFi Kingdoms, that it's a shill? Okay, not when it's based off the fundamentals of the project. So, and then, there's people piping up saying, I'm with, the DFK analytics guy. Okay. And so Jet starts seeing all these comments and he hits me up. He's like, what is going on with this community? What's going on here with DeFi Kingdoms? Like, he was so weirded out by these comments of people saying things when they don't know what they're talking about. We need to stop it. It's one thing to message me this and talk about it and ask questions and look into it. It's a whole different thing when you go out to Twitter and do that nonchalantly, hip shot, don't think anything of it. It's like, so all this is hitting me like a ton of bricks. And then I noticed the community, nobody was talking about it. There wasn't one YouTuber, one influencer talking about it. But I love some of the shout outs here. Who cares about the judge's credibility? Right. Look at the big picture. It's about onboarding new players, like spreading the word about DeFi Kingdoms, not keeping it as this subculture, tiny, dinky little ecosystem, right? Like, so then it was like a night later. So then I'm watching, Sarge, baby, he had the debate. He had guys on the show and all kinds of people. And one of the questions was, do you guys think that Jules should be listed on a SEX, on a centralized exchange? And there wasn't one person that like put their foot down and said, hell yeah. There was people pushing back against it. That mostly what it was. We don't need, and some of it is understandable because it's engineer-minded guys is this, the DFK analytics. He's like an engineer. So it's like, I'm so used to that mindset. But what I'm not used to is just blasting the show. He blasted the whole concept of the show, okay, and just came right out and said all this. So, but I am used to an engineer-minded type guy looking at this and being like, I don't like this. The shills. It reminds me of a shady car dealer. Guys that don't understand messaging, marketing, sales, they immediately in their mind think of sales as money you got to spend in shady car dealer sales type guys. It's like that's where their brain goes. Whereas actually a shady car dealer is a terrible salesman. Okay, I can run circles around those type of guys, production and sales in every which way and get a zillion times more referrals without behaving that way at all. Okay, but I'm so used to the mindsets of guys that don't understand, they don't get it. In the same way, I don't understand, it's not my strength or my gift to be doing. They have other strengths and gifts that are phenomenal. Like we heard it today with Frisky Fox, this magic he was working on, how he can change. Oh, it was so, I think I would love to unpack. I'm going to unpack that someday with Frisky when he realized that he can actually change the existing code into, what were they called? Crystals or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, man. Okay. So I'm like used to a Nine saying, hey, we got to $24 before, on its own. We got there. I'll actually laugh. But I started seeing this crazy theme happening, okay, where all the influencers on that debate of 8 people up on that debate. Now, some people said, yeah, I'm like in the middle. I do think it should be on a centralized exchange, but it's only because it'll pump the price. How does that, do we really want that? Like what? Come on, guys. So listen, the purpose of going on like Coinbase, for example, is to get exposure to the project. Okay. Exposure to the project. They have a learn and earn where you can watch a video about Joule and DeFi Kingdoms, and then you answer a question and you get a Joule, or 2 or 3 Joule or something. And you can actually make money by doing that every once in a while. Okay. And that's how, and then people can start learning about the project. Exposure to people. It's not about pumping the price. Of course, the price has to pump. So I'm going to get into some economic things here right now. We're going to get to it. Economics in the game and how this thing's going to work. Because listen, any successful business out there, in order to be successful, there's 3 branches to the business. You have finance branch, okay, which is HR, it's, your accounting, you have all your payroll, this and that, loss, profit and loss, all that kind of stuff. Has to be in order. You have to have that leg or the bit. Okay, because a lot of business owners, they start a business, they grind. Okay, and the business owners, their books are a mess. You're talking to one who used to have just god-awful books. Okay, because I just was trying to survive. The last thing I cared about was, doing QuickBooks. Okay, I was working 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. And then on Sunday, I worked 8 hours for 2 years. Nuts. Like all day, every day, on Christmas Day, on Thanksgiving, selling policies. Okay, it was all about surviving. Started the business from nothing. I had to fork out 30 grand and I'm grinding. Last thing I was worried about was the finances. But I would have sunk, okay, had I not gotten that in line. You have to have your finances. Okay, so that's a branch of a business. Got to have it. Otherwise, it'll be a short-lived business that will die. Okay, number 2 is service and operations. The operations of a business. Okay, service and operations. So we might start a business that has we make the most amazing windows. We make the best windows money can buy for the cheapest price of all windows out there. They're the best windows and they're the cheapest windows. I used to sell windows and siding and roofs for a construction company. Okay, did all these different things. We can have the best windows on the face of the earth and have our books perfectly in order. And have the most amazing installation process to install those windows and have all our ducks in a row. But the third branch of any business to succeed is sales and marketing. Okay, and you have to have it. Otherwise, you're going to end up with warehouses full of windows, nobody buying them, and you go out of business. That's what happens. When people don't know about your product, you can't get anywhere. And without all 3 of those branches being strong in a business, you're done. You won't last longer than 5 years. 5 years tops, you're done. Because what happens is, as I grew my business, I had the service and I had the sales down pat, masters at it. We could write the book on it. Okay, but I was spinning my wheels because I wasn't making money. I was still losing money. I had more money going out than coming in, even though number 1 salesman, just like my head was spinning all the time. until I burnt myself out so bad I just couldn't even function anymore, and then was like forced to get everything in order. And then I just went to a whole nother level of understanding business. That's a whole nother thing. Okay. And this exact same principle is with any crypto project out there. And so what DeFi Kingdoms has is they've really formulated themselves. They've created a very strong foundation, DeFi Kingdoms, baby. They have the best product that I've ever seen, the best team, the best, okay, but it's always weird to me. You know what George said? George, you know what? I basically pinned him down like a butterfly in a killing board. And he was about to cry uncle. But the only thing he could say at that point was, dude, this project's like dead. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say that at all. Like, look at the market cap. Look at, it's like a mass exodus happened. So good luck. Good luck on surviving. Good luck. Because there's two mindsets here. Obviously, it makes sense where we have our books in order and we have the best team and the best product out there. You would think that trumps having the best team, the best crypto project with the best tokenomics and the best everything. You would think that trumps hype. Right? I mean, isn't it more important to a project to have the fundamentals in order, to have developers developing, to have amazing core values, to have awesome tokenomics, to have big-brained ingenuity in the game? Then it is to have hype in sales, right? I mean, obviously, the answer to that is yes. Okay, tell me a project in the top 10 or top 20 or top 30 that has there might be one somewhere in there in the top 30, okay, that has amazing fundamentals, but no hype at all whatsoever behind it. YouTubers aren't talking about it, except this tiny ecosystem of YouTubers. Tell me a project out there. Now, on the reverse side, is there a project in the top 10 that has no developers developing? Is there a project out there that the two developers that created the project created it in one day and then forsook the project and called it a joke? Is there a project in the top 10 that called it a joke, that has no fundamentals, no development in the ecosystem, hardly at all, less than like 20 GitHubs or less than 10 GitHubs per day on average from development? In the top 10 with billions of dollars of market cap? Doge. But what do they have? They've got Elon Musk. Just that alone, boom. That's all it took. Okay, and now where can it go from here? Could Elon Musk develop out a platform on Twitter to accept payments in Doge? Is that something? Could now other devs come in and do stuff on that? Could it actually become something good? Maybe. It actually has potential. Okay, on the flip side, no hype, no YouTubers talking about it, mainstream YouTubers, okay? Nobody out there talking about DeFi Kingdoms much, although lately I have seen a little bit. Seen some new, bigger YouTubers throwing stuff out there? Yeah? Okay. So here's the risk. The biggest risk is that we stay stagnant. The ecosystem stays stagnant. We don't grow as an eco. Like, I've never for 1 second been content with this tiny, dinky little ecosystem cannibalizing savage one another, making every cent of profit they can possibly squeeze that turnip out. Squeeze the juice out of that turnip. No way. I mean, this project won't survive if we don't grow. Like, hello? And guess what, guys? It's not just gonna grow on its own. It's not just gonna happen. Most projects, when they've gone through one bull run, okay, they die. They don't make it. And even the ones that are still doing stuff, most of the time on their second bull run, they don't even go back up to their all-time highs on the first bull run. There's little adoption, little hype. People have moved on. So like when you hear about EOS, when you hear about Neo, these were some of the big, like, we thought would take over the industry. And they did. It's not like they stopped developing. It's not like they gave up. It's not like with Substratum, I was so big on that one, and the team literally closed the doors. I couldn't believe it. Pretty much. It's not all 100% closed. I couldn't believe it when that happened. And yeah, growth is a must. Okay, yeah. So there's this mindset that if you build it, they will come magically. This is the mindset that they were in that night on Sergeant Filthy McNasty. If you build it, they will just come. Sorry. It's not how it works, boys and girls. And big risk to this project is not doing things that are obvious 101 things, like getting on a centralized exchange. Like, hello? You guys, it's a must. Now, there's some legitimate concerns with leverage trading, but they've already said you won't be able to leverage trade Joule ever. And any centralized exchange that has made that a prerequisite, they're out. So the DeFi Kingdoms team isn't even looking at centralized exchanges on leverage trading. And I couldn't agree more. But even if that was a must, so what? Joule's a different animal now. It's like, but I hate leverage trading with a passion. So don't get me started there. Okay. Another concern I saw today is the SEC cracking down on centralized exchanges for staking. Okay. But the SEC will never come after a DeFi project on that. Like, I mean, if they did, I mean, I guess they could, like China did. China, I mean, we basically could just go communist and do that. But is really the SEC cracking down on that is actually more bullish because it's going to force people now, like with their Ethereum, to go with Lido and these other DeFi projects. That's what they're going to do. They're going to take it off the exchange and self-custody it themselves and figure out there's going to be different solutions for that with Matic. A lot of these different projects, okay, they're just going to create their own Matic staking, wallet with Cardano. They're just going to go and create, get their wallet with Cardano and stake it themselves and self-custody their crypto. So that's actually fine, just fine. Okay. So, and you got Dreamer on this team who's so excited. Dreamer really impressed Jet, by the way. So let's get back to this. Okay. So back to the story. I noticed, so like a whole week goes by and the applications were open and Jet was so excited about the project. He didn't actually say this, but he was basically like, yeah, DeFi Kingdoms is in. He was so impressed with the project. Okay. But then I'm like, So I chatted with Frisky and Dreamer about it, and they were cool. They were excited and appreciative. But then they just like went dark for about a week and a half. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I start realizing there's actually people, okay, there's actually people in this ecosystem that wants to keep it the way it is now. They want to keep this a tiny, dinky little ecosystem. They don't, you know, they frown on me. Like I did have people saying I was shilling DeFi Kingdoms in Miami. That did happen once or twice. But then I used it as an opportunity to connect with them and pin them down like a butterfly on a killing board, baby. So am I shilling DeFi Kingdoms by going and talking about DeFi Kingdoms? Hyping it up? Like, really? Okay. So I start panicking. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like I'm like in La La Land. I'm way off in left field. I'm not even in the ballpark. Okay. Yeah, streamers in the community has been the best marketing that we have seen for the project by far. That's right. And they do their AMAs. Like, that's huge that they do their weekly AMAs. Like, who out there does that? There's not too many projects out there that does that at all. Okay. So anybody that wants to go look into it can. But we've already had hundreds of thousands of people. It was repeated on George I'm George. It was repeated on Crypto Banter. Like, most people in the crypto space think this project's dead. And then they just, when they actually look into the project and look into the fundamentals, they just look at the charts and they're just like, what the hell happened here, guys? What's going on? And then they're out. Right? So it takes persistence. It won't just come back on its own. And the amazing community of content creators that we have won't be enough, probably, without some magic being worked, right? Without the messaging, marketing, and hype, without these efforts that people are doing, reaching out and trying to help to guys like, yes, even guys like Despicable BitBoy, even guys like BitBoy, to spread the word, because BitBoy is talking to normal, average Joe Blow people sitting in their home with their 9-to-5 jobs, with their wife and kids, telling them about crypto. That's where they get their information. A lot of people get their information from these people. Okay? So it's, when DeFi Kingdoms is on their lips, it can only help. As long as the project's legit. As long as it's legit. Any test that is going to be put under from this crypto gym show, DeFi Kingdoms will destroy, will absolutely smash all of, they have a big fat green check mark on every single checkbox except messaging and marketing. So they need help. Now, I know, so I had to I start panicking a little bit. After 10, 11 days goes by, and I'm just like, oh my God, I just thought at that point, because I saw a comment from Bolin, so I'm going to get into some more. There's more history here. So there's a comment from Bolin, and he made a comment about, we're all pissed off at George, right? Like, we can all say amen to that. We're all pissed at George, right? He pissed all of us off. He did a half-assed review, got the bullet point news of DeFi Kingdoms and spread the FUD. Same with Hustle. It was like 1 inch deep. He didn't do a deep dive. He didn't know what he was talking about. And he was on there saying he doesn't think DeFi Kingdoms is going to survive. And he's still skeptical. Okay, but now, so what should our response be? Anyone that gets it with messaging and marketing, a business owner, founding, visionary type guy would automatically want to, in a good, awesome, tactful way, go connect. Okay, if someone, especially a key influencer, is talking SHIT about your business or about your project, the 101 response is to go in a good, awesome, tactful way, go set the record straight. That's what you're going to want to do. You got to go set the record straight. You got to go communicate to them. And because 100,000 views on his videos, George, 100,000 views, and he does 2 videos a day and off getting at least 50, 60, 70,000 views per video. A lot of people all over the world watch him. We have to set the record straight. And we need someone focused and dedicated on doing that. Or on the team. On the team. Focus, not everything gets thrown on Bolin's lap. He can't do everything. This is like outside of his purview. It's not his job to go hunt down George, I am George, and spend his time, go listen to his video and get on there and super chat him and hit him up and email him and hit him up and be like that nagging neighbor knocking on your door, all driving you crazy. Okay. And then finally his ears will open when he hears things like amazing developers, all the things they've done, all the things they've had to go through, the tokenomics updates, just all the core values, all the awesome things, the things they do for the community, the way they communicate for the community. Clack, out of the park, done, next, get back on his good side. That should be anyone who's messaging and marketing focused. That will be their mindset in that scenario. But I notice Bolin is hitting me up, and it's almost like it almost came off that he was like, wanted to avoid George. He doesn't want to have anything to do with him. It's like we want to put our head in the sand and just think that things will just get better. If you build it, they will come. Yeah, he did. George lost a lot in the gardens, but I helped him get it back, and I helped him get onto Crystalvale, helped him with all that. Yeah, I mean, I watched it. That's how I got into it. You know, when George finally said he was into DeFi Kingdoms, that's when I was like, I heard about it from Drake on digital and other people. And I was like, well, damn, I got to get into this. Like, that was the final push of me getting into it, actually. And I was watching live the day he fudded the project, and I've been like embittered against him ever since. Don't get me wrong here. But it's not like George was out there just... Now, I do think he does the damn thumbnails that drive me nuts. And he's just... can be clickbaity. But generally speaking, George is more of a level-headed dude that's open and cool, but also skeptical, and he's going to call out your BS of projects out there that are full of it. He's going to call it out. But he's not the kind of guy to not come back and be like, you know what? You're right. I was wrong. Sorry. Right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? So a lot of times the way George, now I have noticed he's gotten better recently. So like over the summer, I was getting to where George was really losing me. I could tell, it was obvious. It was obvious. George was just being a clickbaity, trying to get as many clicks and like 1 inch deep on his content. But I watched George since 2017. Okay. 26, since he like first started his channel. He was never like that. So it was like he got so big, but now I've really noticed he still does it. He still has a hint of it. The clickbaity stuff, the headlines, but in general, he's got a good head as far as like, at least he's not an outright narcissistic, just sociopathic, crazy guy. At least with BitBoy, okay, so yeah, he was shilling projects that were shitty. For sure, he was doing it. Okay, but that was like a lot of the stuff that came out against him was way overblown. There was like an element of truth to some of those accusations. Okay, he was getting paid to shill projects, and it was bad. He owned it, came back and owned it. And I remember, and he owned it so much that it became nauseating to hear it. So much so that he won't accept money from any project ever anymore, and just on and on and on, over a year ago. So that was like 14, 15 months ago. So, and the stuff he does, like he's taking on Congress. He's taking on the SEC and Gary Gensler. He took on Sam Bankman-Fried, you know, and a lot of that is played up to get clicks. I know but he's like your militant. You just got to let him be him. You just got to let him do his thing. He's still a good guy in the crypto space, I would say. It's not like you just got to let people, we're all human beings. We all have our flaws. We all have, okay, when rubber meets the road, human beings are never going to 100% of the time be functioning at their best headspace and their best maximum capacity to be awesome. There's always, especially when you're streaming every day, like George, you're doing, their shortcomings will all come out. We all have them. We all have our shortcomings. And sometimes we got to fall on our face hard to learn and grow. I see that probably coming for BitBoy. Probably going to fall on his face, get humbled, would do him good. But it's overblown. I was there in Miami, all that stuff that came out against BitBoy. I was there, and I gave a shill to DeFi Kingdoms, to the whole auditorium, okay, in Miami, talking with BitBoy, with Altcoin Daily, with Crypto Crow, with who else? Like 2 or 3, with Crypto Zombie. Just literally the guy came down off the stage, gave me the microphone, and I got to give DeFi Kingdoms a shill, if you want to call it a shill. In the whole auditorium, okay, that was like all over YouTube. Tons of people heard it. And right away, I'm getting blown up, like Born to Die, and Coolio was messaging me. And Born to Die, I remember he told me, he said, Grady, this has been so big for DeFi Kingdoms, or this is so big. You've been such a servant or whatever for DeFi Kingdoms. This is going to really help your channel, is what he said. Something along those lines. It's going to be a big blessing to your channel. Yeah, whatever happened to Faulty Poker, these guys? They die off. Yeah, we got to talk tiers. I'm getting there. I've got a list written down. Okay, so Born to Die said that to me. And, you know, immediately what my mind thought, I was like, I'm not here for my YouTube channel. That's not my why. That's the last thing on my mind. I wasn't trying to shill myself or the channel. It's all about DeFi Kingdoms, building up the awareness, the messaging to build up, to help combat the false FUD that is in so many people's minds out there about the project. Okay. So yes, Zabu baby. So that was my why. My why is to get guys like Zabu and About Life Podcast and the Mythic Squad and those guys, Brown Gent Charged Up, who's putting out, and Christian Peter putting out these awesome videos out there. And then, kind of we saw it dying off. The ecosystem was dying, and to bring life back into it. And yeah, so I think long-term, I will benefit from it. But it's, okay, the horse in front of the carriage. My philosophy of business, I didn't care about the 5 minutes in front of my face making a quick buck. It was never about making a quick buck. You will make a zillion times more in crypto by not trying to make a quick buck. I mean, most people will. Some people are just gifted traders. And to be a gifted trader, you got to be full-time on the charts, on the markets, 12 hours a day, 12 days a week. You got to be committed. Okay. But even with that said, if you'd have just bought and held Bitcoin, nobody did that. Nobody just bought and held. They sold it. If you bought Bitcoin when it was at a penny and it went up to $1, you 100x'd your money, you're probably out at $1. If you bought Bitcoin at $1 and then it went up to $100, all those early people sold way too early. And I've got so many stories that when the bull run comes back, yeah, it is important to take profits. Absolutely. And it's very important to not have money in the game that you need to live on or trade on or whatever you're doing. I mean, that's a risky business. If you do it full time and that's your gig, okay, that's one thing. But we want to not be doing that, generally speaking. You want to be dollar cost averaging in little bits over time. Little bits over time. Little bits. Oh, and then when the project explodes, you dollar cost average out little bits over time. And you can create different strategies and different ways of doing that. That's how you make the most money. In crypto, not about looking at the 5 minutes in front of your face. Okay. So all this was going on and I was freaking out. And it was just like one thing after another. It was just like weird. It was weird. It was almost like spiritual. And I was like panicking. I wasn't selling. I did sell some Gen Zeros, but that was to try and pair some up. I wanted to, and I've done that. So now I need to sell some more. So I've gotten some pairs, been buying and selling some Gen Zeros. Okay. But really haven't been, I wasn't doing that, but I was like freaking out. And then Dreamer hits me up and Jet hits me up and they start hitting it off. And Dreamer tells me he's pleasantly surprised after talking to Jet at how, this thing seems good. And then Bolin, so last week I was on which channel? Was it Sarge's channel? No, we were on Chaos Cast last Wednesday. Okay. After that ended, and I had a heart-to-heart with Bolin for over 5 hours straight. So if you remember, Bogside Chats did like the Fight Club finals or something that night. And I was like going to jump on, and other people, like somebody else was doing a video. I was like, yeah, I'm going to jump on. I'm just going to chat with Bolin here real quick. We ended up chatting. If you count the video of Chaos Cast from last week, it was over 6 hours. Okay. And I wish we just would have kept the Chaos Cast going. Because for one, there's a lot to catch you guys up on that front. but it was just an awesome heart-to-heart with Bolin. I don't even know where to start with that conversation. And then since then, like even today, Jet's hit me up. You know, everything looks, he's all excited, positive, really good chance it's looking like the DeFi Kingdoms might be on this show. And then I hear, you know, obviously I was like, you know, surely Dreamers got a game plan for marketing. I understand they want to develop the game and stuff first, you know, but in the meantime, that takes time. There's delays. There's lots going. And you know, it is a risk when your whole ecosystem dies. Like just in different facets of this ecosystem, there has been like outright saviors to this ecosystem. Just imagine if Mosh and Justice Beaver and Starbuck wasn't hatching all those eggs, but instead selling them. What do you think would happen to the ecosystem of this game? That's right. That's right. Ah, I love you guys. Yes, thank you, Crypto Baby H. Okay, and I got to go get my kids. Okay, I really do. Oh, Dreamer just hit me up. Yeah. Okay. So I was like, surely Dreamer's got a marketing plan. And, you know, maybe just got to let him do his thing. I just like needed a break because my head was spinning. And there is just other weird stuff out there too happening. And okay. And so, yeah, I remember what I said. I said, you were the glue that keeps community. Oh, thanks, man. Yes. Thank you. I'm going to get Born to Die. He was going to come on before I went into my funk. Same with awesome dude. What's his name? Hello. With the website. Expert. Stronghold, baby. Coming. I mean, everybody. About Life Podcast. Raph. Neindorf. Okay. Dudes. All right. So I was like, surely Dreamer's got a game plan. And then it just, as time went out and chatted more with Dreamer and had that awesome talk with Bolin, I'm more bullish than ever before on this project. But I just needed assurance that, like, as a big picture core value, they at least recognize the importance of spreading the word to the world from the rooftops about DeFi Kingdoms and not staying in our holier than thou little subculture of a huddle. Okay. It's like weird exclusive stuff, weird mind, like, guys, wake up. Engineers, wake up. If you build it, they won't just come. They will not just come. Listen, most crypto projects die and go to zero. It doesn't just happen on its own. Wake up. Okay. Yes. Amazing foundation, all kinds of stuff, man. Even with money and a foundation, most crypto projects die. Even with that, and tons of millions and millions of dollars. Look at EOS. They got all the money, all the support, and they still are just a dead project, basically. Like the number one ever crypto project as far as money raised ever, EOS. And they're like a dead project. And that's most of crypto. Most of crypto on the next bull run does not even the ones that still are doing okay and hanging in there, they don't even go back up to their all-time highs. Or even, in a lot of cases, Not even close. Vibes, I love you, man. Vibes, I love you. Baby. Okay. So that was my response to George. My response to George was the community will keep it alive. But our community is like a micro, dinky little community that's not even on the radar of hardly anybody out there. Ever. Not even an honorable mention. Not even like every once in a while now, especially now, George will at least maybe kind of give it a little honorable mention. Maybe. Okay. So it isn't the way this current ecosystem is functioning now. It will not survive long term. We have to grow. We have to spread the word. We have to grow. And if we don't grow, that's our biggest risk. We can't continue. I can tell you what happened at Faulty Poker. Somebody was asking. I can tell you, you can only take so much through the bear market. You can only take so much. You can only lose so much money. Like there's one person in this game that wasn't in right at the beginning. Besides those who were in when getting thousands of percents that got in when Jewel was at like 1 penny, okay, right at the beginning of the project. Besides those people, there's one guy that I know of that's actually profited, who's actually stayed in the game and stayed engaged, who didn't just dump and get out, but who's actually stayed in the game and actually profited. That's the brown gent. I mean, and even him, he took the profits and put them else, in other things and lost money. So it's affected all of us. The bear market, we can only take so much. Human beings can only take so much. The team, listen, Bolin, guys, Bolin can only take so much. But Bolin can take a lot. That's why he's in that seat. Bolin, okay, I can just tell you this. We need to show our love and appreciation to Bolin way more often. We don't. We do not love on Bolin enough. And so what happens is, okay, I couldn't have handled what he's been through. All the stuff he's been through. Okay, so Vibes, start this video over, my man. Start it over. Start the video over. 2x speed. Anyone just coming in, start it over. All right. We won't just grow. We won't just grow when prices pump. It won't just happen on its own. Let me make that clear. It won't just happen. You can think that all you want. It won't just happen on its own. It's got to have awareness for growth. And as the ecosystem has been now, Faulty Poker was developing things, tools, but the tools break down because the economy in game broke down. It's a bunch of people cannibalizing one another. A group of 600 players, I would say, maybe that are really that active, 600 players cannibalizing one another is what we got right now. So, but we have all the green check marks to explode to the moon. It's an easy thing to sell. It's an easy thing to spread awareness about and to increase the ecosystem. And let's just say things just kept going on now. Okay. Let's say things just kept going as they were, as they've been this whole time. DeFi Kingdoms would still have a decent chance to survive. We could grow little bits. We could, get 30 new players in this month, 50 new players in that month. And it could survive, but that would be a long, grueling road. It's already been a long, grueling road. So a guy like Faulty Poker can only take a guy like Klein Crypto, a lot of the people, they're just human beings and you get discouraged. So just imagine if we didn't have Mosh and the Mythic Squad hatching all the pets. That one thing alone. Or just imagine if we didn't have people like Vilvi and King Baka buying up all these heroes. And I mean, there's no telling where the floor of heroes could have gone. Like, look at Defira. You can get a Gen 0 on Defira for like $1 now. Really? I heard that and I was like blown away. And it's just died. And I can tell you, the team can only take so much. I still think they'd be resilient enough to take on some other cataclysmic thing. I really do. I believe that. And survive. But I'm telling you, they've been through more than we can imagine. Frisky Fox has been through more than we can imagine. Bolin has been through more than we can imagine. And so a lot of days, Bolin is so used to taking all the shit that he takes from people, all the passing comments of people talking shit on the project, or just little jabs. Okay, it's all the time people bitching, complaining about different things. It's all the time, every day. And he's never, hardly ever gets people appreciating him. And so what he does, what you have to do in order to survive in that environment is one of two things. You either put up a wall and you just shut it out. You block it out. Which is at times what I would have to do, for sure. I can't imagine. Or he like has this gift about him, Bolin does, where he's able to take flack all the time and not be appreciated and loved on. Okay. And still keep it real. But you know what that has cost him? More, it's cost him to force himself to kind of go through the motions. And so it's not that I'll just tell you, that should answer a lot of the questions. Bolin he's done a really good job staying steady, hanging in there with the project, because he is stuck in between the community and the team. He's in the middle. So he potentially takes it from both sides. It's not easy to run a project like this. It doesn't just happen on its own. Hey, so we need to love on Bolin. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I was into Fira. I almost bought a Gen 0, never did. Thankfully. Because, okay. So you're good, Vibes. You're good, man. Okay. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. I can tell you, I think saying 99% is conservative. At least 99% of all the other projects in crypto would have died had they gone through what this team has gone through. Like, we need to recognize that. And how have they responded? Not only have they become more formidable, not only have they become more established in their structure. They've created more structure. They're the fastest developing team I've ever seen in crypto, with the biggest brains I've ever seen in crypto, with the right combination too. Like, you listen to what Frisky Fox said today. You listen to what Magnus, baby. Magnus is another just gem we don't talk about enough, let alone Hubert. And then you throw in Dreamer, who his experience in Goldman Sachs, it's just like, and then you throw in Sun Bear, who's a psychologist, doctor, PhD. And all that they've been through, and they just keep grinding. It's like, when does burnout come? They're passionate, they're clicking. But you guys, it's not on a big picture, macro scale, they can tell you this. But on a day-to-day basis, it's not easy. It's not easy to survive and do what they're doing. Like, you would think they'd get burnt out. It's just obstacle after obstacle. It's been harder. Okay, let's get to some real stuff, even though I got to go. Okay. Oh, sweet. I don't have to go. Thank you, exclamation mark. In the middle of a video, exclamation mark. Okay, so let me pull up my notes. So let's do a few things. Let's create some core values here. Let's be slow to speak against anything we don't really know what we're talking about, especially publicly on Twitter. Okay. And on YouTube, George. Right. So, and let's be quick to love on the team. We got to love on the, they need, and I know most of us do that already, showing our appreciation to the team. Yeah, being battle tested brought me back. Kept a potato from, yeah, glad I found. Oh, that's awesome. DFK YouTube. Yeah, baby. So especially Bolin needs some love, you guys. George, I'm George. We're all George. Cryptos are us. Okay. So that video that Magnus and Frisky did with Supra oracles, super interesting. Okay. That's like separate from Chainlink, I guess. And there's like a token that's going to be associated with that. That looks like an interesting opportunity, actually. Okay. Yeah, the team, it's like they're still going through it, man, but they're just like grinding. Because I remember in December, they were talking about level 10 questing right around the corner. And maybe also green eggs on the same day, but maybe not. And I always associated, but now I'm actually thinking green eggs might come before the level 10 questing, because they're having to like restructure everything. And so what I found out, one of the things I found out from Bolin is that he wasn't 100% sure, but he said he was 99% sure that pets will be able to be used not only on level 10 quests, but also on the regular quests. Did we know that? Beeve, did you know that? Yes, green egg hatching. So we're going to get to that in a second. But this was like, I think pets, from what it sounds like, and I meant to do a series of questions on talk.defykingdoms.com. It looks like pets will be able to be used on our regular questing, Profession 0 level questing, not just Profession 10 level questing, which is even more bullish for pets and eggs. We don't have to wait for profession level 10. Did anyone actually know that? And he didn't say 100% sure. He said 99% sure. Not actually George, but the show is. It's Cryptos RS, George, I am George. I've got some people out there that are always like, yeah, Potato Army. I am Grady, we're all Grady. It's hilarious. People say that still on all my videos. I love the shout outs. Noonie, baby. Yes, we need green eggs. So when green eggs come, there's still delays. We are hoping by now we would have green egg hatching and profession 10 level quest. From what it sounded like today, the green eggs are coming real soon, like maybe within this next week, was the vibe I got. But profession 10 level quests might still be a bit off, ways off, which also means PvP combat, I'm guessing, probably won't fall in Q1. I'm thinking April, which is totally fine. I know that for the last 6 months, we've been like waiting for it. And it's hard. But they're doing such a phenomenal job. Workhorse is doing such, it's just it's like every hero is OP. Every single one. Watching Wowie's streams, so fun. Oh, I love it. Zabu. I still want to talk to Zabu some more. We need to talk, Zabu, on the phone. Okay. I left you hanging, Zabu. My mental health. I'll tell you what. Okay. So I feel like green eggs before profession 10 level quests. But when profession 10 level quests, they're like redoing the questing of even the profession 0 quest is my takeaway. Okay. So that'll be like a massive update. Crazy, fast developing from the team. Unlike I've ever seen personally in crypto, but it feels like it's been forever. It's like drudging through the bear market. But for people who were bullish and stayed in the game and didn't sell out and leave, like Faulty Poker, and people like Rock 808, who's lost $500,000 in the game, it's hard. You can't do it forever. You can't just keep going forever. And you get in these, it's like the headspaces, you see it. Neo was like a rock star team. Neo had it all. Neo had it going on. A great team, great everything. They had all the hype. They had it all. And they didn't even make it through the second bull run without just basically being a dead project. Okay. Like, people aren't realizing the risk. High risk, high reward. The biggest risk, okay, I just got woken up to it. Like, I'm on planet Mars. What's going on here? Because I just thought, I guess I just assumed what's inside my brain was just a commonly thought thing. But I'm realizing it's not, but it is. It's all good. But we need to recognize these things. You got to love on the team. And especially if you're trying to like bitch at the team, if you really want to get heard, you want to connect with them. You don't want to just come out and lash on them. People. Okay. Because when that happens, they automatically just shut down. And they go into survival mode and just keep the peace. And they just say what they got to say to be cool. Okay. Yeah, they're making it easier to level up. Yeah, first green egg. This time, yeah, it's been a long wait. No, Rock. I don't know if Rock's gone. I don't know. Yeah. No, I don't have to get my kids. X is bringing them. I love it. Yeah. So she's actually bringing them. Actually, my older daughter that has been reconnecting with me, bringing them. Okay. So the power-ups, awesome thing. I'm loving the power-ups, but let me show you guys something real quick that a lot of people I don't think realize what's going on. You got to come in here occasionally and love on this. You got to come to your jeweler. Okay. And you see these power-ups. You want to hit manage power-ups and you want to look at both assign heroes. Okay. Now, sometimes, see, I have one that I need to go, that I need to assign, but look what happens. Execution reverted, already assigned. Why is it saying that? Well, it's because I bought this hero. I've got a dark summoning strategy I want to talk about too, real quick. Okay. So whoever I bought this monk from, actually for the purpose of dark summoning, I think, yeah, bought him off the floor, super cheap. So I'm creating a dark summoning strategy because I think, and this is also part of the reason why over the last week, so I want to talk through this with you guys too. On dark summoning, it's like this push and pull, man. And I still want to get with Hubert on this, on the dark summoning. But I would say, so I figured out a way around my hiccup on dark summoning. It was like a short circuit, my brain not working. Brain is like short circuiting on dark summoning because I've been a good little DeFi Kingdoms boy, you know, leveling, using crystals and stones. But now it's like this whole new mechanism in the game throws a total monkey wrench in the game. Like it. Okay, but here's a way around that, especially with my Gen 0 heroes. I can summon using no stones, no tiers, specifically for the purpose of dark summoning, and create a wallet of heroes, create a pool of heroes just for dark summoning. I'll get to that in a second. Because this has been my big brain ideas that I've been formulating over the past actually while, because I know that rarity is the hardest thing to get in the game. And so it's important. Dark summoning is important. Okay, so the reason why this happened, execution reverted, already assigned, is because whoever I bought this monk from forgot to remove it, right? So when you see these heroes, you hit remove, you got to remove these guys. And it's weird. I know this priest is not on a quest right now. I don't think. Maybe he is. Every time I'm in here, the priest is on a quest. And I sold this priest, or I traded him. I think that was a 3 wolves trade. So no, Rock's not gone. We're going to get him back. I've been reaching out to Rock. We got a love on Rock. Yeah, I know there's all these strategies. We got to talk about the $100 challenge, which I'm regretting. I'm just not, I don't like to do the short time frames. So anyways, I think this thief was ready to remove, but now he's questing again. Dang it. Before I started this. So anytime you come to remove, it has the transferred ones first. Okay. Then if it doesn't say transferred, like you don't want to remove those unless you just want to. And now when you transfer the hero out of the game or to a different wallet or bridge, it'll now, thanks to Beetle Dude, baby, work in his mat. Beetle Dude, who's a freaking machine with all this that he's doing, add it right away. Bolin and I put in the request that night, and it was like Beetle Dude responded in 2 days. Had that where now if you send or bridge, you first can remove the heroes from your power-ups. You also want to double check if you've been doing buying, selling, summoning. You want to come to manage power-up, and you have to increase your allocation occasionally. Okay, and I have to check this all the time because I still have tons of heroes that need to be added, but I can't. If on the ones I bought are different ones, and if they're questing, you got to wait a day if you send it to a different wallet. So you got to stay on it. Okay. Also, one of the things I was going to say earlier is if Mosh, like back to the, I think that, okay, I'm so bullish on this game. I believe in it as much as anyone on earth. Okay. But also realistically, we have to recognize how frail it potentially is because of all the hell that people have been through. And people can only take so much. And it won't just survive on its own. An example I want to give is if Mosh and Beeve hasn't just imagine if they weren't hatching all these pets and occasionally buying floors of pets and reselling and hatching and buying and selling. Okay, they account for so much of that. Okay, so purchasing eggs when they're down, when the price is down, which right now the price is at its all-time low of eggs, when it's the best time, or maybe not the best time, but one of the best times to hatch the eggs in the existence of the game, because you can hatch them with Jade and it's cheap. Now tiers are still up, but even those have come down. But when the green egg hatching comes, so just imagine the value of eggs could potentially be down so low, could be down to like 10 cents if people weren't doing it. So just imagine if that was actually the case. If nobody, if we didn't have Mosh and Starbuck and Beeve and all the Mythic Squad guys hatching eggs. And just imagine if eggs got down to 20 cents per egg. It's like a complete breakdown of the entire economy of the game. You guys, so there's been some of these saving graces within this community, and it's taken all of us. It's taken Crypto Baby H. It's taken all these different people like Vilvi and King Baka, some of the big dogs in the game too, actually still staying bullish on the game, buying all the heroes all the time for months and not selling. Vilvi's not selling all the time. Did you guys know that? Like if she was, look out. Yeah. So on the $100 challenge, I was behind. I needed more time to think it over. But after, like I was waiting for the price of tiers to dip back down and for things to come back down. Because I was debating on what to do. If I was going to maybe put a little bit in liquidity, buy gardeners, buy a couple miners, or whatever, and go that route, and then do a few summons. That would have been a good route. But I just so much time went by before I did anything and even registered my wallet. And it just hit me. I'm like, Jade is getting so cheap. I bet there's going to be a lot more egg hatching on Serendale. And there's not enough liquidity there. And on Serendale, more liquidity for tiers. And so I'm just like banking on green egg hatch, coming, and Profession 10 level quest coming within this month, because if it does, I'll smash. So I just created liquidity with eggs, like gray and blue eggs and tiers and Jewel, which that's another thing with liquidity. So with liquidity, okay, with these items in the game, the value of the items hinges on the value of the coin that they're paired with. Okay. And so I've been kind of like lobbying a little bit to the community to create liquidity with gold. Okay. Which I'm also bullish on gold once green egg hatching comes and profession 10 level questing comes. But until that stuff comes, and I do think it'll just blow up when all that comes. But until that comes, everybody is so weary from this bear market. And this whole ecosystem is a weary ecosystem. Let me tell you. That's why we see eggs now at like, I saw them drop to like 90 cents. And I was like, dang. And that was when it just hit me. I'm going to go buy the eggs, provide liquidity for the $100 challenge. And that way I don't have to mess with questing. And it's like, I don't know. I need more time. I'm more of a long-term guy, but it's fun. I love this contest. I would love to keep it going beyond just 1 month and see the changes. Okay. So with liquidity, if we pair it with gold and then pair gold with jewel, okay, that makes sense. But basically what I did was, it's like gold. I do have a lot of liquidity of gold with jewel, but I just decided, because I've been creating liquidity just so the ecosystem can function. So I'm like on some of these pools, like even the gold pool with jewel, the gold jewel pool, I think I'm like 88 or 90%. Let's look. I think it's on this wallet. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's not even that crazy. 81%. When I saw that, I was just like, dang, it is almost 3 million gold there and only 791 jewel. So the way liquidity works is that anytime you have an item in game, okay, let's say right now, for example, one egg is worth around 3 jewel or 3.5 jewel. Okay. So if jewel pumps, the eggs automatically pump. So it's like hinges on the value of jewel. And jewel seems to be the main pair because that's the token that we all trust the most in this ecosystem is jewel. Or, I did notice also that there's a decent amount of liquidity with USDT in Serendale. That was interesting. So it does make sense to be providing liquidity with these items with gold, but I just realized like I can't buy enough gold to create the liquidity because there's not enough liquidity for gold. So it's like I just don't have the money to do it. I'm so bullish on all these items though, all the items in game, because actual real world use case is coming. But until that comes, it's going to be tough. And so if we were to have all the items with gold and then the rest of the gold with jewel for liquidity, it would work. But it's like it breaks down because there's just not enough liquidity for gold in the ecosystem. And so it does, I think, make more sense to provide the liquidity with these items in jewel, or I guess USDC or USDT. But primarily the predominant pools, and I'm like, I still have a lot of, you can't see them. You have to import the pools like every time you log in if it's with gold. That's another thing too that's annoying because you don't like ever see the damn pools. Every time you log in, you have to import it if it's with gold. So on some of the higher volume items, I've been switching out the liquidity with gold that I had with gold with jewel. That's what I've been doing, especially like with eggs. And that will help the stability of the ecosystem. And so if jewel dumps, okay, if one egg is worth 3 jewel and jewel pumps, the egg automatically pumps. And then you can sell the eggs and get more for it. or buy the eggs if it's Juul's down, which right now Juul, like the whole market took a dump today because of this SEC, not allowing staking. Like the SEC is so helpful, right, for us. Jeez. So I also realized too, there's very low liquidity for the eggs, especially the blue and gray eggs, especially the blue eggs, but both the blue and the gray eggs in this ecosystem on Serendale 2.0, but it makes the most sense to hatch the eggs on Serendale 2.0, which also means sometimes what's convenient is you need a few more tiers. So you buy the tiers real quick on Serendale, not on Crystalvale. So that's why, and gold. Sometimes you run out of gold. There's going to be shortage for all this stuff once they open up Profession 10 level questing, green egg hatching. But until that happens, there's no telling. There's not enough liquidity, right? So somebody can just dump hard and drive down prices with heavy dumping. Okay. So, and it's all based off liquidity. So this whole ecosystem breaks down. We don't have an ecosystem if there's not sufficient liquidity. So we can buy and sell. Otherwise, it breaks down. And so the upside with that is when there's high volume and low liquidity, that's when you're making a good chunk of change on the fees. And I've noticed that also I created a bunch of liquidity for stones because the liquidity was so low and I still want to do some more, like with the DEX stone, the lesser finesse stones. I think O'Cool created liquidity on the regular stones is what I heard on last night on Adventures in DFK. Okay, so that's what I've been doing, just trying to help the ecosystem trade. Like, so, because man, it's hard. I can't imagine selling an egg for 8 and getting 88 cents. Like, it just seems crazy to me to do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. That seems crazy. It might have even gone down lower. So it's never been, well, I won't say it's never been cheaper to hatch an egg, but it's a good time to hatch an egg. I'll just say that. Because when it comes due for egg hatching, look out. And there's not much liquidity to be buying tiers and gold. Okay, there's not near enough liquidity for gold and tiers. Not even close. Not even close to hatch these eggs. So if you are going to need tiers and gold to hatch eggs, I don't know what to tell you other than you're not going to be able to hatch all your eggs because there's just not enough liquidity, even close, to hatch the demand there's going to be for all the eggs. We need more liquidity for the ecosystem to be healthy. Okay. And so where are eggs right now? So I've been like hatching eggs and buying some when I see a dip. 89 cents on Serendale and 85 cents on Crystalvale. Wow. For the blue eggs. And there's way more liquidity on Crystalvale, but still not a ton of liquidity. Like, I just can't imagine. So guys, just imagine the awesomeness, the big brains that's going to happen in this game when just imagine if there's 100,000 people in the game, actual human beings wanting to buy heroes and play the game. There's not even 500,000 heroes actually, if you count the ones that have died on Perilous Journey or been burned. But we are over a total of 500,000 heroes now. I'm guessing like around 450,000 total heroes. Just imagine for all the faithful DFK awesome people out there. Just imagine the value of your heroes when there's 100,000 people, or let's just even say 10,000 people. Okay. My brain is shutting down. How long? 2 hours? It's only 2 hours and 10 minutes. Man. So if 100,000 people want to get in the game and they all, the average person hero holder is only right now going to be about 4.5 heroes per person. Max. So just imagine the demand for tiers, because we're going to want to summon like crazy fools, because we're going to want more heroes to sell them because of all the demand. People are going to go to that tavern, buy up all the heroes. All right. So that's what guys like Vilvi, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been anticipating. That's why I'm in the game. It's like a gym. This game is a gem, hidden secret that needs to be announced to the world. Like, we need to share the love, you guys. We need to share the love. I don't want to be an ecosystem of 600 players, right? Just imagine. I can't even imagine. I honestly cannot even imagine if we had 10,000 players of the game. I can't even imagine. That would be an average of what, I guess that's 40. Yeah, 40 heroes per person max. Like max. At this present moment. But we got to have the adoption. And so I'm always, like, in my mind, I know I can make that happen. Like, in my mind, it's like, I'll make this happen. But then when I realize, like, whoa, I'm like off in left field in the eyes of the community, it threw me for a loop. And especially it threw me for a loop if the team wasn't at least appreciating it. My kids are here. Hang on, I'll be right back. All right, guys. Hey, I'm right in the middle of a live video. Love you. Love you. Love you. Okay. Poker and football on Sunday. Yes. Yeah. Love you. Okay. Okay. And are you giving everybody a shout out? We lost a front tooth. Hey, and by the way, I didn't tell you guys also. So my house was such a mess, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was so bad. My house you have no idea how bad. I still haven't opened my mail since March of last year. It's like, I can't even explain it. My brain, I died. So that's when I started the channel, right in the middle of all that. Well, the house got so bad that my ex-wife took it upon herself to hire a cleaning lady, and my daughter, my oldest daughter, and all the rest of my kids right here came over and cleaned the house.
Nathan was even feeling really bad.
Yeah.
Like his stomach was hurting.
Yeah.
It still helps.
Okay. And I was going to have my box of mail Oh my gosh. Okay. So I love you. Mwah. Okay, I want to wrap up a few more of these things. Okay. Okay, dark summoning strategy. The awesome thing with dark summoning, I love you, Nathan. Love you, buddy.
Can I come in?
Yeah, come on in. Come say hi. Come
Hello?
say hi, buddy. They can see you. Here, let's do a full screen so they can really see you.
Yeah, and me.
Okay.
So they can see us.
Ah, yeah. There you are. I love you guys. Right here. Right here. Girlfriend. All right. So, dark summoning strategy is you can start small, but I'm thinking what I want to do because this is important. We got to talk about this. Yeah, Travis, don't connect your wallet. Okay. Good stuff on here. Yeah. Oh, with Fight Club, if that's what you mean, yeah, you just send Crystal show proof of your wallet. That's right. Yeah, baby. I love these guys. You guys can hang out as long as you want. So I'm thinking, so here's what I'm starting to do a little bit of. I'm preparing myself to create a separate wallet that's only dedicated to summoning and dark summoning. And it that way it's like finally I found a workable solution in my brain because it's so hard to summon not using a stone, but it's hard to use stones also because they're more expensive now. But it's important. You want your PvP heroes to be stoned. Like, I don't care what the scenario is. You're going to want to have the stones. Like, and using a lesser stone is equivalent at level 100 to having used 35 lesser crystals. If you just do the math, approximately. So, but if you're dark summoning, you don't want to waste your stones and tears and stuff. So it's just been like this terrible conundrum I've been under. But now I'm realizing and I think a lot of people have already realized this. I'm just not the sharpest stick in the woodpile always, is that when I'm summoning with my Gen Zeros, you can do this any which way though. But when I'm summoning with my Gen Zeros, I can just dedicate these heroes that I'm summoning with to the pit, man. So you're still wanting to do good pairs all the time and progress the pairs. But here's the thing. If you find an awesome pair with your Gen 1s, you use no tears, no stone. And you summon those pairs all the way down, or even not if they're commons, maybe not, but you'll find pairs that also will match well of the babies that you can summon in the dark summon with the dark summoner, and then get added rarity boost. So that's another thing that hit me. So this is a dilemma because one idea for dark summoning, and a lot of people did it, is take a basic mythic hero and a common or a rare Dread Knight and summon those and hope a Dread Knight hits or hope a Transcendent ability hits. People are doing that with Transcendence. But here it kind of hit me. This also seems to make more sense. I would rather summon 2 Dread Knights together to create pure Dread Knights because I have one. I have summoned Dread Knights together already. I've done it twice, both times, 75% chance to hit another Dread Knight. I did, and one of them is a Dread Knight, Recessive 1 Dread Knight. It's a pure Dread Knight. Okay. So when you do that, you can create a pool of pure Dread Knights. And eventually, hopefully, you never want to waste a summon of a Dread Knight, ever. or a Dragoon or Sage, and probably not any of the advanced heroes either. You never want to waste those summons, especially Dragoon, Sage, Spellbow, Dread Knight, because those summons are so valuable. You'd be better off summoning as a regular summon first until they have 0 summons, and then summon those together. But on your like common basic heroes, when you're summoning and you got like a Gen 1 10 out of 10 and you use those summons towards the dark summon, it really does help on the rarity. Okay, so, but you don't get a pool. What's nice is finding those good pairs, summoning them down, and now you have a pool of other heroes you can dark summon with. And as you do that, you always want to be focusing on the mutations of the abilities. And this is how O'Cool, I heard, apparently O'Cool got a triple Transcendent Dread Knight. Does anybody know what the, does anybody know on that Dread Knight what the rarity is? A double second life Transcendent, passive. So that Dread Knight will die twice in the game and resurrect. Plus, or resurrection or whatever. Plus, he also has the exalted ability that can resurrect a dead teammate. Nuts. But I know how he did it. He bought some heroes from me. O'Cool did. He was hitting me up every once in a while. I'm guessing it might be a mythic too, that Dread Knight. Because what I do, I've been not summoning because you don't want to round down for sure, but even summoning an uncommon with a legendary, man, you're probably not going to hit the legendary. You'll get a rare. The legendary is so much harder to get than the rare. So I summon only legendaries with legendaries and only mythics with mythics. And you certainly want to use all your summons on a mythic before you summon that in the pit. Okay, and in doing that, I've also been considering, like with my Gen 0 pairs now, pairing them pures, like an archer with an archer and a priest with another priest that match up well. That's also a factor. I'm not like just going for that only, but it's so hard to find good pairs. It's so freaking hard to find good pairs. It takes so much work. Now I've thrown in another eligible partner by making them pure. Because if I summon an archer with an archer, there's a good chance your recessive one will also be an archer. Now you can summon a thief with a thief and have a thief, archer, 10 out of 10, Gen 1 that pairs well as long with advanced mutations. Then you can get those elites, Gen 2s, and transcendent Gen 3s, and just get a whole pool of them going. Get them all summoned out. Summon all those together. Then you find awesome pairs with the right rarity in the pit. Okay. And as you summon those together, those Gen 1s and then those Gen 2s to try and get elite abilities with the Gen 1s, you're trying to get either advanced or elite abilities. Hopefully you're hitting some elites on Gen 2s. That's ultimately the goal. It's hard to do. You know, you got to do several, and then hopefully you can get some transcendence. Okay. And you're creating like a pool of heroes that you can now dark summon the babies together if there's great pairs. And then you can take those babies and dark summon them. And there's like, it's been like freeing for me to not have to worry about, because I was investing so much money into all my heroes with stones and crystals. It's like this dilemma all the time. Okay. And it's like an easy workable solution now. And so it's like been a game changer for me, and it saves. And then that is how eventually, so I was like summoning hard over the weekend and stuff last weekend, which it's can't believe it's already Thursday. Yeah. It's like my brain. What in the heck? I blink on the time work. So crazy. But like, for example, I had a solid pair of a Paladin Dark Knight legendary. They're both legendary, good pairs. And I hit like a mythic Paladin. And it was like, oh man, like I was still in a dilemma of whether or not I should use a stone. And I didn't use the stone that time. And I still suffer from this. Like, but as I come up with a game plan here, I'm going to share it with you guys. But I've hit some mythics in the dark summoning too. So I just like smashed that. Then I go on a run and it's weird. I don't hit good stuff, but I ended up throwing, I hit a mythic Paladin, which is actually my first mythic Paladin. I didn't even realize it. I thought I had one. I was almost sure I had one, but I don't. I've got a bunch of mythic Dark Knights and mythic everything else advanced except Bard. Maybe not a shapeshifter. Anyways, so I ended up throwing that Dark Knight and Paladin legendary in the pit and nailed a Dragoon legendary. So, and I hit because I also hit at least one of the mutations on the ability because they matched up well on the abilities. So when you start doing that and you build up, and it's so cheap right now to summon, right? So it's like the time to do it. That's part of the reason why it just hit me. It's so cheap to be summoning, especially, I do all my regular summons on Serendale 2.0, and then I bring them over to Crystalvale to the pit. And I'm going to create a wallet just to do this. And that is eventually how I will, and all of those heroes are dedicated solely for one purpose, getting a mythic Dread Knight Transcendent Exalted ability with other elites and advanced on there too, hopefully. It's rock. Start the video over. 2x speed. Oh my gosh. Yeah, always use the stone if you're trying to summon something good. Yeah. But it's like been this dilemma in my mind because it actually happened recently. The one time I don't use, the first time I went with my Gen 0 with this same strategy I just explained. The first time I chose not to use a stone, I hit a freaking mythic with my 2 Gen 0s, just a regular summon. And it's like the one time, and then the next time I didn't use a stone. Okay. The very next time I summon, and I didn't use a stone, I hit that mythic Paladin. Oh my, I was like the 2 times over the weekend. Hilarious. But it's like, it's okay, Rady. It's okay. We're going to be real patient now with that Paladin and find an amazing Dark Knight mythic match to send to the pit. Because the Paladin did hit on the mythic, and it maybe it did hit on an advanced ability too. Because we also want to get elite and advanced abilities, right? So the only way, like this is the ticket. It's like hard for me still to digest, but it's the ticket to possibly getting that multiple transcendent mythic Dread Knight. It's almost impossible otherwise. You'll never, ever be able to get that. So what are the eligible heroes? I haven't even had time to look at this because this week, and I need to wrap up. But I want to find heroes in the tavern that aren't stoned, that aren't, with tears and stones and at the floor, like higher rarity. So I bought up a few, but I haven't even looked all week. Also, it's a good idea to look at the recessives, right? I realized today, like I've got this I've got a hero with a dragoon, like a basic common hero with a dragoon in the recessive. But that's a perilous journey hero. It's like, but eventually he'll go to the pit, baby. He's out of summons. Like a perilous journey wizard, common, but pretty good on the stats. So, okay. So I'm going to slowly, iOS code 100%. That's right. Rock. Dude, I have missed you. Check your Discord, Rock. I don't think you're on Discord much. I think that's it. Okay. Oh, binge gaming, baby. Hell yeah. Dude, iOS code. I talked about him coming on the show. iOS code was on Sergeant Filthy McNasty, baby. I love it. Okay. So I know, right? It's so hard to know when to use stones because, like, let's say you're summoning, because even advanced, I want elite abilities or transcendent abilities. Like that's, and I know one thing that's cool to know is that I know that all my heroes with even basic abilities, gene trait abilities, will be good still because of how Pervy Sage, baby, workhorse, my hero, is developing the game phenomenal. So that's part of my strategy is that I don't have, I'm going to keep loving on all the heroes that I've loved on this whole time. And I'm going to hand select all the heroes and dedicate them to a wallet that's, in my mind, will only be used for dark summoning. But here's another dilemma, iOS code and Jackamach, baby. So tell me what you think. Like, let's say I'm summoning 2 uncommon advanced heroes, like a ninja summoner, uncommon, with advanced 2 advanced abilities that line up for potential elite. What do I do? Because I might hit a myth. So this, it happened. One of the times I hit like a legendary from doing that and an elite ability and either a sage or a dragoon. So the myth, so no kidding, this, it never happens where you mutate all of those things. It just never happens. I'll do a million summons and it just doesn't happen. It's like, okay, but I actually happened. And okay, but it turned out I did use a stone. That's right. I used a lesser stone. And a sage, I think a sage or a dragoon, one of the two. A dragoon or a sage hits. And one of those advanced abilities mutated into an elite ability. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a legendary, either sage or dragoon from 2 uncommons. But just imagine if a mythic sage would have hit and both elites hit. Okay, because I'm still at this point planning on throwing this baby to the pit eventually. So I summon these guys down, all their summons all the way down. This 2 uncommons together with 2 advanced abilities. They're not yet ready for my mythic transcendent dread knight that I'm going for, that I'll use like a greater stone on, right? I'll use a greater stone on that. But then let's just say a sage double elite mythic hits. And I'll be like trying to find that perfect pair to throw that into the pit with a mythic dragoon. Okay, I want to find a mythic dragoon with that lines up on both elites and use a greater stone and summon that for a dark knight. But actually, I mean a dread knight. But actually, and just get a huge pool of all these heroes going where all the babies can be summoned with each other. Okay. Right. iOS code. Right. So it's still a dilemma. And then I have a wallet dedicated just to summon these heroes together. And I find like when I summon a Sage and a Dragoon together, usually you're going to get a Sage and a Dragoon, but not always. But a lot of times you also get that in the recessive, the other one in the recessive. Now you're going to have a bunch of heroes that have the recessives with a bunch of Sages and Dragoons. That's part of the deal that you want to do as well. And also a bunch of Dread Knights with a bunch of Dread Knights in the recessives. And then you want to summon commons with commons, uncommons with uncommons, rares with rares, legendaries with legendaries, and mythics with mythics. Can you imagine summoning a mythic Dread Knight to the pit with another 2 mythic Dread Knights to the pit to try and get transcendent exalted ability traits? I don't know. So I'm still fully trying to wrap my mind around it. But on the ground level of it, that's my strategy. And I think actually, even from a dollar like an actual money making opportunity is there if you do it right. Because the value I gained when I burned out of existence a legendary Dark Knight and a legendary Paladin. But I hit an advanced ability or an exalted or an elite ability and a Dragoon, which that's uncommon that will hit. But even if I don't hit the Dragoon, now I'm going to have Dark Knights and Paladins, legendary guaranteed, okay, that will have Dark Knights and Paladins in the recessives. And those are the ones I'm focusing on. And in the first place, getting those recessive gened heroes for the dark summoning. And then you just rinse and repeat, okay? And you'll be able to create these monster heroes. And you can be really patient. Like on that Paladin, mythic Paladin that I hit, and on the Dragoon, I'm going to be really patient and try and get the right partner to summon that with. Now, even another idea is to summon. It made sense more of why Workhorse would even consider. I remember thinking we all thought he was nuts, right? For summoning 2 mythic Paladins together. Why do that? Well, because there's a good chance you can hit on those trait abilities, genes, and get Paladins in the recessives. So anyways, if there's ever a time to do that, if there's ever a time to be doing this strategy, it's now, because it's never been cheaper, ever even close, to summon a hero. And you're not wasting tears with that strategy. It's all forward looking, creating all these babies, summoning them out. They can be then summoned together in the pit. And I have been hitting. Now I did go like several summons in a row where it's like striking out on the rarity, but then I start hitting, getting legendaries and mythics, like even with commons, using up those summons, like actually using the summons towards the rarity. Okay. And start small. Like it multiplies fast. So when you can just start with 2 heroes and then they start having babies, and then those babies can make babies. And then you just start going and you start having lots of babies. So it doesn't have to be crazy. You can be patient, and it's kind of like my long-term plan to get that ultimate pool of heroes that I want for PvP. Even though I'm still holding out on my current pool of heroes, my uncommons, my commons, my rares that I've invested tons of crystals in over the past year almost. okay, that are jacked level 12s, level 13s, level 14s now. They're starting to level up faster with these power-ups. It's going to be even faster with Profession 10 level questing. And the first moving advantage with those heroes are also going to be monsters. Now a lot of them are level 10s, you know, and some of them level up well. So they'll still compete, especially early on. I can't wait to get Wowie on to talk more about this. Okay, Mosh just hit me up. I got to go, though. I'm going to go. I've got more to talk about. It's insane. But I'm running out of gas. The $100 challenge, yeah, it's so hard. I hate short-term trading contests like that. I've been in others before. I used to try. I mean, I signed up and paid money and I went down that road to be a trader and just realized, like, you do all this hard work, you put in all this time, and if you just buy and hold and dollar cost average in, you're probably just going to be more profitable anyways and save your time and energy. But, you know, some of us, like the brown gent, it's obvious. Like, it's fun. This ecosystem creates all these opportunities to trade and do this and that. And it's fun. I love it. But I just like have more of and I do it too. Like, don't get me wrong. I still it's easier to like sell when it's up and buy when it's down. It's just, I program my mind, and I've already been through a bull run, bear market, bull run, second bear market. Basically, I kind of maybe my third-ish, and it's like, I've just realized you just buy and hold and DCA into the good projects. Well done. Oh my gosh. I miss you, Mike Brown, all of you guys, Zabu. I need to connect with you. Yeah, what about summoning with high level heroes? Yeah, the bonus. The problem with that, Zabu, and I've done that, so, is that, man, you start mowing. It's a pain in the arse I had like 8 heroes that I needed to level up to level 10, and it's like a zillion runes, and it's just a pain to do it. But yeah. Yeah, that's true, Zabu. Oh, I love all these strategies in game, and I love partaking in them. All the different opportunities, arbitrage opportunities, all the different things we have in this game. It's the best game ever, the best ecosystem ever, the best third-party developers ever. Man, bullish, you guys. I'm out of gas. Kids, crypto, Grady, out. Sorry, I'm going to leave the comments up and go through them because I know, like, effects. I want to get him, especially want to get you back on the channel. Oh, yeah, you can. Hang on, though. Hang on. I think people overestimate the high-level hero thing. Doubt we reach level 100 anytime soon. 1 and the level 5 bonus is +1. Primary stat growth. Yeah, level 15 is secondary. Yeah. So that was another thing too I was going to say about pure heroes. Like for PvP, you can't even utilize that pure 15 plus until they're either level 45 or 55. We're not totally sure. So anyways, I want to get effects back on the channel. Absolutely, man. Big effects, man. It's just a beast in this ecosystem. I love it. All right, go.
Crypto Grady out.
Love you guys. Say best game, best crypto project in all of crypto. Oh, come on. You can do it. Love you guys, man. Love the community. Yes.